In this video, we're going to show you how to create 2D templates from 3D scan data. So first we need to open Creaform OS, click on Scan-To-CAD, and I've turned on Scan-To-CAD Pro. Next, we can click on Browse, and then import the STL file that we wish to use. And that will import the STL file that we previously captured. The next step is that we will need to align our scan data. To do this, we click on the plane tool, hold Control and select the top face. Accept that creation. Next, we're going to choose the edge of the template to create a new axis. So we're going to change our selection tool to the paintbrush. Holding Control, just select that along that bottom edge. We can just fit that plane there. If we need to, under constraints, we can make it a perpendicular plane to plane 1, just so that it's nice and square. Once we press OK, it moves automatically on to plane 3. And then again, we just repeat that process. And it's remembering also to make it perpendicular. And accept. Once we have 3 entities, we can now do an alignment. Click on the alignment tool, choose plane 1, and set that to X and Y. Choose plane 2, we can set that to YZ. And plane 3, we can set to XZ. We can then accept that, and we now have an aligned mesh. Next, we go into our modeling tools, and we can click on Create Sketch. And we're going to set the base plane as X and Y. Since it's aligned, that's going to be the 0, 0 mark. And we could try and adjust our cross-section position, so the further down it's more likely to cut through the STL file. But there is another option as well, where we can select Silhouette, and that will then get the bounding edges of that mesh. Once you click Confirm, you are launched into the sketching mode, and we can now get the line tool, for example, hold Control and click on the line, and as I'm holding Control, I can increase the selection tolerance. And then let's just crank that right up. And the more you select, the more it will grab. And then holding Control, I'm just going to click along that edge. So you don't need to be perfect, you're just trying to fit lines onto the polylines. And here we have the bounding edges. Next, we can get the corner trim tool and just select the lines you wish to corner trim. Oh, I missed a line, so we might as well add that there. Corner trim again. Drag that line back down once we've finished trimming. Okay, drag that back onto there. And we can drag this line here onto the origin as well. This endpoint. Actually, it did find the origin already, so it's snapped onto there, which is great. Then what we can do is we can go ahead and constrain some of these lines. So I'm going to make some vertical, and I can just hold Control and drag over top of the lines that I wish to make vertical. For the lines I want to make horizontal, I can drag over top of those, holding Control. And for the angle, we could then get the distance tool and then click between 2 lines and then just set an angle there. So we'll just say 19 degrees. Okay, once we've done that angle, we can then add some actual dimensions. So we could start to constrain our sketch. Okay. And one last sketch to constrain. Okay, and we're now happy with the sketch that we've drawn. That sketch now can be extruded with inside of Scan-To-CAD Pro. So that's just an option. But let's say you just need to send this over to SolidWorks to do some work on it there. We can then right click on our sketch, transfer it to SolidWorks. SolidWorks will then be launched automatically, and it will create a part file and import the sketch directly into SolidWorks. What's really nice is that the sketch will also be editable. So I'm just now entering to accept the dimensions of the sketch. And here it is, imported into SolidWorks. So again, you can find a sketch and select Edit and change the dimensions if you needed to.